Why did that teacher get fired from your school? Two teachers. They got caught in a classroom. My 5th grade teacher got caught the IT dude in her classroom while we were out for recess. Neither got fired but were transferred to other schools. Two teachers at my middle school, man and woman, would often walk into the bathroom together. They straight up F during passing periods. Did you see one of the babies? Did one of the babies look at you? Female PE teacher. She got caught sniffing a girl's underwear while she was showering. Imagine getting out of the shower and seeing your teacher with her nose in your underwear, face vomiting. WTF is wrong with people? Students laughed she ate toothpaste. Turns out she was an alcoholic trying to cover her breath. 9 out of 10 alcoholics recommend Crest. TM. 2 words: peppermint schnapps. Dating a 16-year-old female student. He was also a PE teacher. Edit: I should clarify that he did do jail time and is on the sex offenders register. It's always the PE teachers. My PE teacher also dated one of his students. He married her. He also continued teaching PE and coaching girls volleyball for 40 more years. Loudly crying. Edit: this was in rural Michigan, so unless you were from my high school of less than 200 people, it's unlikely to be the same guy. Just a testament to how gross people are everywhere. My math teacher was a volunteer first responder in NY. She left school to help out during 9/11 and was fired for not showing back up for 2 weeks. Hell. She left school to help out during 9/11 and was fired for not showing back up for 2 weeks. I thought it was gonna end with her not coming back at all. She of BAMF though. One of my high school teachers was caught on to catch a predator. I bet it was Walter Babst, the high school teacher from Riverside, CA. Was it that getting my kicked guy? She had fallen off the wagon and was drinking a lot to the point where it was affecting her memory. We kept doing the same lecture on density in 6th grade science for a month, until one my classmates decided to ask another teacher about it. From there she went to rehab. If anyone wants more context, she was our homeroom and science teacher. She was very nice, and married to our principal, so she had a little bit more leeway. While she was able to remain sober for a while, she eventually passed away due to the effects of her addiction a few years after this. She never seemed like a bad teacher, but she was always stressed to the absolute maximum, always felt like she was working from behind, and generally struggling to keep up. You know, the traditional tail end of the functioning addict lifestyle. Affecting rather than affecting. That may have been one of the lessons I missed. This one is actually sort of rather sad. Had an amazing, but eccentric, math teacher who was incredibly involved with helping students. He made sure to always cover his bases, so there was nothing really creepy about him. The year I left high school, was a senior at this time. Went on to finish my GED. He was fired shortly after news an article that he had killed himself with a self-inflicted gunshot. What had happened during this period of time was a student had come forward to the administration and accused him of sexual misconduct, both of them being males. And unfortunately there was no real way to prove a negative for the missing time outside of school hours, so they promptly let him go. Being a gay, black teacher in South Texas, rough. He wrote a letter basically denying all of the accusations, but had come to the grim realization that at his age, his career was effectively over. So he shot himself in the head. Later the student who made the accusations came forward and said he had fabricated the entire event because he was failing his grades and angry. The whole event was quietly swept under the rug. Rip Mr. Ethan. You were a good person who was cut down by others' selfishness. Edit August 15, 2028. Just want to add some stuff here. I'd rather remain anonymous. I understand some people may want to know where this happened so they can verify this or that. but I've seen what internet sleuthing can lead to. If you choose to believe me, thanks. If you don't, that's all up to you. Honestly, it was a terrible knowledge to learn of this man's fate. As somebody who is married to a former teacher aide, I can attest that shoot first, ask questions later is a personal motto of all school districts. There is zero tolerance and it's systemic, but not without reason. If you have a teacher friend or family, ask them about how strict and silly some of the rules and guidelines are. Sort of rather sad. I realize that this is actually a really sad story, and this was a poor choice of wording on my part. I have a lot of incredibly bad things revolve around my universe, and I try to remain upbeat by downplaying their tragedy. It's a personal problem. So sorry for misguiding fellow Anons here. This was a terribly sad story and I wish he was still around. One of the elementary school teachers at the district I went to got arrested for making his class worship him like he was a cult leader. He was totally bonkers. What the F? I don't know whether to laugh or be shocked. This is the weirdest one yet. Edit. Thanks for all the F votes. I had a football coach like that. He made us call him God. I signed out of the team pretty quickly. He didn't come to parent-teacher interview night. The next day, he was late for class and crashed his pickup into a brick sign outside the school. Cops showed up obviously and allegedly he blew twice the legal limit. He called the principal AC as he was taken away. He called the principal AC as he was taken away. Just while he was at it, might as well vent some grudges. Our new band teacher was a young guy, fresh out of college. His first year teaching, and he embezzled about $1,000 from the band's funds. He got arrested and his possible future career ruined for $1,000. Edit. Probably my favorite part of the story was that he went by the name Mr. E. So once he was gone, the ruthless band kids referred to him as Mr. Embezzlement. Our beloved teacher, Mr. Mound, had worked there for 29 years without incident and was one of the best teachers there. His classroom was always a laugh riot. He was the best roaster and encourages us to roast him properly. He never failed to get us motivated, and a lot of us owe our career inspiration from him. He was fired because he had jokingly smacked a student on the back of his head for making a stupid comment. It was like something out of a sitcom and all of us expected it and loved it. Yet one student, who was new at the school, was culture shocked by this. He thought it was strange but hilarious. He told his mom offhandedly and his mom became the Karen. Never mind that the student was the teacher's godson. No physical contact was allowed, says the Karen. He was suspended with pay for 3 months pending investigation, then was let go because the Karen twisted the story and it blew up around the school. A year later, teacher won both the lawsuit against the school and libel case against the Karen, with her son being one of the key witnesses. We still keep in contact and roast him for getting rich over smacking kids around. Geeky AV teacher that everyone loved. Knew he was a geek and owned it. Caught in a predator sting trying to solicit underage girls. The kicker was a spring school levy was coming up. Local police conspired with the school district to hide the charges for 3 weeks until the levy was passed. Someone substituted his class for 3 weeks. Yay, everyone was both devastated and pissed. The district ended the school year early. Does levy have a meaning besides drafting your serfs into a standing army? Explained elasticity by pulling the bra strap of a girl. Another one for having relationship with a girl from 8th grade. 14 Yo. Hey Susie, come here so I can explain the female reproduction to the class. Goodness, that's terrible. I can't imagine the teacher waltzing up to you and just doing that. Arrested by the FBI for credit card fraud. It was a few months after the arrest when the reason why he disappeared came out in the open. After some of the others, I'm actually okay with yours. The principal of my elementary school got fired the first year he was hired, or took leave before he was arrested. I'm not actually sure which came first. So a couple kids in my 4th grade class thought they'd prank the science teacher by pouring iodine and bleach into his coffee when he wasn't looking. The teacher tasted it as soon as the drink hit his tongue and immediately spit it out. He grilled the class and the kids admitted to it and got sent to the principal's office. The principal found out which of them physically poured the chemicals into the coffee, then took him into the bathroom to discipline him, hit him. Apparently, he grabbed the bottom of his jaw while screaming in his face. You could hear him echoing through the hallway. Then he squeezed hard enough that the boy started crying. So he slapped him across the face and told him to stop crying. The kid's dad was a lawyer, by the way. Suddenly cops were in the building and our new principal was out the door. Edit, along with the kids who poisoned the coffee. Edit 2. Fun fact, one of those kids ended up becoming the local LSD dealer in high school. He showed up to a house party at my friend's house and spiked his 55-gallon fish tank with acid. Nice expensive fish too. Oscars, lionfish, etc. All of the fish died. Edit 3. Correction, there was more than one fish tank. I think the lionfish were separated from the Oscars. Sorry fish people. My memory is foggy. Either way, all those fish were belly up the next morning and the big tank became a bottle cap receptacle after that. My high school of less than 500 students lost 5 teachers last year because they all had a relationship with the same 15-year-old girl. Is this real? Honestly, that's a red flag that the girl is likely getting abused by someone at home or in her personal life. He was a wonderful, friendly and handsome teacher. This girl had a crush. Somebody told the teacher about this girl's crush. The teacher felt awkward and avoided her eyes from then on. Girl got hurt. Complained to the principal that he was being creepy with her. All the heads, which included my father, were called for a meeting with him. He got sick of defending himself, shouted, "Fuck you," and left the school. They fired him before he could hand out his resignation. Edit. To clarify some things, it was one of the best schools and all the rich kids studied there. I studied because my father was a faculty. Otherwise we don't have so much money, and hence teachers were dealt with very harshly. On one occasion, a teacher was fired only because it seemed on the cameras that he hit a boy hard. The parents complained and he was fired the next day, without listening to him at all. My father knew that he just patted him, but the kid was spoiled and he lied. Also, the teacher was a junior one. Nothing happened to the girls. RIC might have talked to them about it, but IDK about that. They graduated fine. No problem. I got to know about this incident later. When I was there, I just knew that he knows she has a crush on him and that he left one day. I mentioned my father so that you'll know how I know what happened in the meeting. He just knew that a girl has complained and now they are called. Also, the teacher we are talking about was every student's favorite. So other teachers were jealous and they all know he is very lenient and encourages us not follow other teachers and stuff, so it might have made it hard for him to say he stayed professional always. My sociology teacher in high school was fired for throwing a chalkboard eraser at a sleeping student's head. He was a great teacher, and always did this in good humor. Obviously not a great idea in retrospect, but we all knew that we could get away with sleeping in his class if we didn't mind getting an eraser upside the head if he noticed. I heard he was fired a few years after I graduated high school, and that kinda bummed me out. Probably deserving of a reprimand of some sort, but not getting fired. It's not like he was a sex offender or a guitar player. One was fired for beating his wife and kids, sad face. Another one, assistant principal, was fired for sex with a male student on campus in her office. Another, the principal, resigned because he knew about that carrot and let it happen. Edit. Here's a link, haha. Why did the principal let it happen? Was he watching or something? You mean raped a student in her office?